Welcome back to Trackside Northeast Season 2. I'm your host, Joe Cortsese. We're back, folks. We got a sponsor. Wrong side. Phil's Propane. Phil, congratulations. You are now the sponsor of Trackside Northeast. We're going to have a great year this year. We've got a plethora of interviews lined up. We're going to be talking with folks around Seekonk, Thompson Speedway, Connecticut. We're going to have a lot of fun this year, and we're back, folks. Racing's ready to go. Daytona 500 kicks off this Sunday. It's going to be an awesome season. There's been so many changes and so much we can talk about. I mean, we could spend the next hour talking about the difference in NASCAR and what different changes we've gone through. First of all, number one thing, the chase is back. We finally got rid of that terrible system, in my opinion. It was an awful system. Win and you're in and all this other stuff. But we have the chase back, and we've got everyone gearing up. I mean, we had the Clash last week. We'll give a shout-out to Ryan Priest, local Northeast driver from Connecticut. Priest has had a long racing career, and finally to see him get a Cup Series win was big. And granted, it is exhibition, but he joins, I believe, only two other people in racing history to win the Clash before actually winning in season. And I'll give you a minute to think about that before I come back with the other two. Two very prominent drivers. One is still in the mix now today, but that was a little tidbit of information. But we know early momentum kicks on. We got the Daytona 500 coming up. New Smyrna has their race week down south right now. So we're back. Racing season, Super Bowl aside, racing season is back. And there's been a lot of changes in NASCAR. So we'll go through the ins and outs of some of those changes today, and then also we'll go through a little bit. We'll hear from some of our Nexstar sister stations with some content. We have to talk about this speedway down in South Carolina. There's a little bit of a local dispute on whether or not it's going to be going to the city, back to a track. It'll be interesting to talk about that, but we'll also be joined by Danny Hardner for WGHP Sports. He actually got a one-on-one with Ryan Priest down in Daytona talking about heading into the season and gearing up for a big race. So it's going to be exciting to look forward. So let's talk about the 500, and it's really coming down to both speed and execution. They made a lot of changes this year. A lot of it has to do with the open cars. And when I talk about open cars, open race teams, NASCAR series, it means they don't possess a charter. If for anyone out there who doesn't really understand what the difference is, you got the 40-car field, this and that, and it should be pretty interesting this year. Unlike the charter teams, open teams don't really have that guarantee, lucrative, regular revenue-sharing payouts, but there is an opportunity that, Jimmy Johnson or any other provisional driver opens up and comes in. The field might expand to 41, so it could be an intriguing start to our season. But, I mean, Ryan Priest, got to give your hats off to him. Local guy coming in. He's raced up and around all throughout New England and all throughout the United States, and just so happy to finally see him get in the winner's circle. And, there's a lot of storylines to follow this year. Connor Zilic will be up in the Cup Series. Ryan Priest, I'm really hoping for him to having a good year. A lot of eyes will be on Denny Hamlin, and it was just, oh man, it was so tough to see him lose last year in the final race. But we don't have to worry about this year because we have a whole continuous put together point system now, back to the chase. I think they originally started back in 2003, went till about 2014, and then they got rid of it. But it's back. We're going to have some good racing this year. A lot of eyes will be on all different storylines. But let's get that one-on-one with Ryan Priest. This is Danny Hardin with WHP Sports. He caught up with Priest right before the 500 this week and talked a little bit about, coming into the race week and gearing up for the 2026 season.
We are back. NASCAR back at Daytona Beach, Florida, as we get ready for Sunday's Daytona 500. Joining us is last week's Cookout Clash winner, Ryan Priest. And Ryan, how good does it feel to get out of all that snow last week and be here in beautiful Daytona?
Well, I can tell you it's a lot warmer, it's a lot nicer, and being from Connecticut, I didn't mind the snow at first, but I wanted to get down here to Florida and during speed weeks, and it's nice to be down here right now and not looking at snow and freezing.
Yeah, all the delays last week at Bowman Gray kind of messed up your schedule because you wanted to get down here, do some short track racing. Kind of give us real quick your timeline. You didn't get a lot of sleep after you won, or even before you won the Clash.
Yeah, no, I definitely didn't. I was up. I remember our daughter and my son woke us up at 3 a.m. the day of the Clash, won the race, got back to my house at 11:45, got on the road in my motorhome 12:15, got here to New Smyrna at about like 9:15, 9:30 because I had to fill the fuel up, fill the motorhome up, do all the dad stuff. And then we were on track at 12 o'clock with the super late model, practice all day, and then racing on Friday. So it has been nonstop. But you know, as a race car driver and as a racer, this is what I live for. And the opportunity to be in a car on Wednesday, be in a car on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, have Sunday off. You know, was at New Smyrna, was watching the Super Bowl, but now I'm back in the car tonight, and then as well as Tuesday, and pretty much every single day until the Daytona 500.
Yeah. After you won the Cookout Clash, there was this emotion that it probably surprised you, right? It kind of overtook you afterward.
Yeah, it definitely did. And part of that is Regan Smith. I blame him. And I blame him because he was looking at me in the eyes and he said, Ryan Preece, how does it, like, in the way he did it? I've known Regan for, 12, 13 years now, and he drove for an owner that gave me the opportunity, my first opportunity at a national level, Tommy Baldwin, and he's seen the struggle. He's seen the grind. He's seen all these things. So when he looked at me in the eyes and said what he said, I just had a flashback of sleeping on a couch, borrowing money, everything that I've done to get here, being told that I wasn't going to be able to do it, having, going from different teams to different teams and chase opportunities, and to finally win at this goal that you're chasing. It's a dream come true.
As you get ready for the Daytona 500, you have an interesting relationship with this track, don't you? I mean, you've been on the roof a couple of times.
That's a great way of putting it.
Yes.
I love it, and it just doesn't love me back sometimes. But, I'm a believer of the law of averages. Eventually, I'm going to be in the right place at the right time, and we're going to end up crossing that line first. So, it certainly hasn't been easy, but I'm not coming here with the attitude of, I hate this place. I just want to finish. I want to win, and I want to pull into victory lane.
All right. If you do, we will be there Sunday after the race. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right. There you go. Ryan Preece, driver of the number 60 car for RFK Racing, getting ready for Sunday's Daytona 500.
I'm going to say it now. I think Ryan Preece is going to have an excellent season. I mean, like, you finally get past that first win and you hit it. And, I mean, from there on out, it's ready to go. I mean, if you get a chance, and I'm sure a lot of you have, watch his post-game interview, or post-race interview, I should say. It was just the emotions pouring out. You could tell it when he just talked about how a couple years ago he thought he'd be going back to Connecticut. He didn't think he was going to have a job. And it's just great to see those underdogs, those triumphant stories in NASCAR and coming through. So let's go over a little bit of the chase. We got 16 drivers that'll make the chase this year, and 12 drivers for Xfinity, and then there'll be 10 for the Craftsman Truck Series. Now, winning your in no longer applies. Instead, drivers, they will accumulate points over the season, and it'll finally give us a little bit better feeling of what NASCAR used to be. I'm glad that NASCAR finally decided to make some decisions and listen to what the fans were saying and everything. I also want to throw out there a little tidbit. I am extremely sick, so I feel terrible. I'm going to try to work through it and keep going, but nothing that a little caffeine. And there's my Boston accent coming out. Caffeine hitting a little bit, and we'll get rocking and rolling. But I apologize for all of this. We're going to have better outfits, better interviews, and everything else going forward. But it's going to be a great season, and a great season here on Trackside. We're coming up in season 2. We had our best of series that hit over the holiday break. If you want a chance to check out a lot of your local favorite drivers, we went through many of the championship drivers, and we had a lot of great conversations last year. Looking to continue that into this season. But coming up next, we're going to talk a little bit about this Greenville Pickens Speedway dispute. It was very interesting. I actually didn't know a lot about it coming into it, but when we come back after the break here, we'll talk a little bit about the dispute and what's going on and what's happening down there. I mean, it's a historic raceway and it's a historic speedway for NASCAR, but it's going through a little bit of back and forth with the city and developers. So we'll have more on that coming back here on Trackside Northeast. We'll be back in less than 2 minutes. All right, back here again at Trackside Northeast. I'm your host, Joe Cortsese. Let's talk about this speedway dilemma they have going on. It's between, an economic development and racing heritage. This is down over in South Carolina, and it just kind of came across my feed recently, and I was like, this is interesting. It hasn't been raced on for about 4 years, but there's a lot of back and forth, and it's interesting to see the community outreach come in, and a lot of the racing fans and community members stepping up and saying, no, we want this to stay here. This is a racing. This is a historic. They want to create it as a historic landmark. They don't just want to tear it down and make something new. And, I give a lot of props out to those people. They put their heart and soul into something. And when it's something that's around their community, and, a lot of it's about the noise, and you'll hear more about it from Taylor Farmer. She's with WSPA. We'll have her come in with her package in a minute. But I got to give it out to the community, really pushing, because for time and time again, we've been seeing these short tracks around the Northeast, around, the country in general. They close out. They don't really, no one maintains them, and then all of a sudden they're gone. And it's something that you want to make sure that as a community and as a local community in these tracks, we want to make sure that we voice our opinions, we get them out there, we put them out on social media, and we build groups and all these people coming together, because it really shows the power of the sport. I mean, look what NASCAR's doing. They're changing everything over. Now, granted, this is going to be a local show, and we're starting off a little bit on the national level because the local stuff doesn't really start till April over at Seekonk. They have the Test and Tune with their Fast Fridays, and we'll get going. I believe it's May 3rd. Oh, man. I wish it was that fast. But May 3rd will be coming in, and they'll be kicking off over here. We also have a lot of things to look forward to on the NASCAR level with California. They're going to feature a new, huge, historic street race. It's going to be over in San Diego. That's June 19th to 21st, and it's going to be on the Naval Base Coronado, so that'll be interesting to see. But let's stick with this South Carolina story, and we're going to toss over to Taylor Farmer with WSPA. She has the latest on this dispute.
We stood here 3 years ago when we learned the Greenville-Pickens Speedway was up for sale, and the big question then is what's going to happen to it. Now, standing here 3 years later, an industrial park is behind the Speedway. The Speedway is no longer upkept, and still the big question remains. What is going to happen to the Greenville-Pickens Speedway?
My family's been coming out here since probably the late 50s.
The Greenville-Pickens Speedway has seen 4 generations of the Guthries, from motorcycles to cars. But the track now sits stagnant and neglected. Supporters of the racetrack are calling for it to be used or at least preserved as a historic landmark. For Steve Guthrie, whose dad raced, he raced, and now his sons do. He says he's devastated the racetrack is gone.
It's never crossed my mind through all my years that we would see it where it is today. It's pretty devastating, really. It's a tough loss for, not just local racing here, but, across. There's been a lot of names come through here across the country.
Realty Link owns the property around the track, now called the Speedway Business and Technology Park. According to their online information, out of the 8 buildings on the industrial site, 5 are occupied. 1 is a warehouse and distribution site, the other 4 for manufacturing. Phil Wilson, principal at Realty Link, once told 7 News when the ground was broken here on the industrial park that he couldn't believe no one saw the vision of the site earlier. But for those who raced here, the vision was only racing.
Everybody out here was like families then, on the back straight. We just park and you'd come out early and tailgate and do your thing all day and then just wait for the evening to enjoy the races.
Yeah. How do you describe what it looks like now?
It's heartbreaking.
Some Pickens County leaders support the industrial park, saying it will bring thousands of jobs and billions of investment dollars. Prior to Monday night's Pickens County Planning Commission meeting, Vice Chair Kelsey Crooks said in part, quote, "As a lifelong resident of Pickens County, I recognize the weight of the commission's responsibility in determining the future of the track and its impact on our community." She continued by saying, quote, "I trust our commission will carry out a thoughtful and transparent process in pursuit of the best interest of Pickens County." In Pickens County, Taylor Farmer.
That was Taylor Farmer, and great job on that piece. Unfortunately, it's that day and age where money talks. And, I looked at this and I was just telling our producers over here, I really wish somebody would just, it's a lot of money. I mean, it's a lot of money to race, but like having somebody invest in that and maybe bring it back to life, I feel like you could have something. There's always something about the relics and the history in any sport and anything in general. I mean, when you have something that historic, you could rebrand it, you could bring it in, and you could really bring on the younger generation, kind of like what Seekonk does with their Fast Fridays. You see these kids, they go up the ladder and then they just keep going. And it's a fantastic sport. It's one of the ones that brings the community together. And if you don't know a lot about it, I just urge you to get out to a racetrack. It's one of those family-friendly environments and atmospheres, and you're welcomed in with open arms, even if you don't know anything. It's a fun time, and if you really want to enjoy it, go out to one of the bigger races. You'll see the amount of people that show up and be like, wait, why are there's thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people walking around here, all to see these cars race and these drivers and the stories they have behind it. Now, another thing that made a lot of news was our president, Donald Trump, and him and Penske making a deal. So Trump signed an executive order to bring a major IndyCar race to Washington, D.C. It's all part of America's 250th anniversary. And if you know anything about the 250th anniversary, there's a lot of things going on. They're going to do the ball drop again on the 4th of July, but, it's going to be the Freedom 250 Grand Prix. And, not NASCAR related specifically, IndyCar, Indianapolis, but, Penske has a major history. The name Penske. And to finally see, another NASCAR legend up in the Oval Office. I mean, regardless, I don't like to get into political conversations when we're talking about racing. I mean, it's racing, but I mean, it doesn't matter who's in the office. At the end of the day, if you're in the Oval Office for something, it's something of importance, and it puts you on the mainframe. And having Penske in there with this huge signing was unbelievable. We actually have some video of what happened when he was able to sign that executive order. So let's take a listen about what happened with President Donald Trump.
Incredible people, and this is a very exciting thing that we're doing, and it was fast. They wanted to do it. I understand they've been here hundreds of times over the years trying to do it, and they're going to give you a little bit of history. Roger Penske, everybody knows, he's a legend in many different things, but certainly in racing. He's won the Indianapolis 500 20 times. On the 18th time, I said, he's been a friend of mine for a long time, but on the 18th time I said, I think I'm going to give him the Presidential Medal of Freedom because, you know, how do you do that? Japan, Germany, Roger, right? Everybody, they want to win the Indy 500. They spend billions of dollars getting a car. This guy wins it like every year. He won it so many times that he ended up buying the track. So now he owns a track, he owns a race. It's pretty good. Now he's won it, though. He won it 2 times since he got it. And it's a total of 20. And didn't you win the Daytona 500?
Yes.
How many times?
4 times.
That's all? That's terrible. I can't believe it. Anyway, if you win it once, it's like great. The guy's amazing. He's a genius, and a real genius at cars and racing. And they are going to put up something that's really amazing. It's really having to do with our great 250th birthday, where we're having so many wonderful things. UFC's coming, as you know, in front of the White House with the building literally a stadium. We're going to have over 100,000 people. And this is going to have a lot of people. I won't even say how many people because I think it can set a record for racing. It's going to be very, very important. We're celebrating greatness with American motor racing. That's going to be the name of the event. It's going to take place on August 21st through the 23rd. And it's going to be so exciting. And I love the racing. I don't have a lot of time to watch it, but I love the racing.
And last year, I was actually at the Daytona 500. Trump did show up and created a little bit of an issue. We were down in the, it was me and my girlfriend and some friends, and we were all down there, and we were trying to get through the infield, and they closed it off, so security was there. But, I mean, hey, if Trump likes racing, if Biden likes racing, it doesn't matter what president. If the president likes racing, it is good for racing. It only makes our sport better. It makes it bigger, and it puts it on the national stage. And that's kind of what we're here for. That's what we're trying for. So we'll come back, and we're going to talk a little bit. We're going to get back into the local side of things. I mean, we have some great things looking forward to Seekonk this year, a lot of things to gear up to, and a lot of people to talk to ahead of their opening on May 3rd. I mean, they do begin in April. They'll have tests and tunes, but we'll go over the schedule and take a look at what's going to be in store for Season 2 here on Trackside Northeast. We'll be right back. All right, we're back for our final segment of Season 2, Episode 1. I have to keep track because last year I didn't keep track, and then I looked and we did 30 episodes, so time flies, and it really flies when you're having a fun time. All right, let's get to Seekonk. We get a lot of good things to look forward to this year. I mean, Seekonk Speedway opening May 3rd. It's right around the corner. I know we're in February, but sooner or later, the winter will stop, and we'll get some warmer temperatures. The snow will melt. Now, unfortunately, that's going to create a little bit of a difficulty when it comes to getting rid of the snow because we haven't seen those temperatures warm up. And I'm going to have to talk to TJ and Steve Montegrano, see if they can turn the little knob and help us out a little bit. I'm just kidding. They don't have that kind of power. We all wish they did. Let's talk about Seekonk Speedway Racing. They're coming back May 3rd. Let's throw up at the schedule. And the JNR Precast is coming back as well. And May is going to be a big month getting involved, getting in startup of the Speedway and everything this year. You got Fast Fridays. They're going to kick off. The Bandoleros Test and Tune. They'll go in April, and then I believe their opening night, Fast Friday's opening night, is May 29th, but the JNR Precast is coming back. That is going to be, it looks like May 16th, Saturday, and I'm really hoping to be able to get out there this year and see a little more when it comes to the Speedway and get a little more involved with going around and talking to some people because I got a chance last year a little bit. Work comes in and life happens and stuff like that, and sometimes you can't go all out and push everything forward. But the good thing is this year I'm going to be able to get down to the track a little more, meet some of the great people and a lot of the organizers and racers down there, and really try to put this show a little bit more on the road going forward. But if you can take a look, we have a whole schedule put out, and Seekonk Speedway does a great job with their social media, and Kyle Souza. Oh, I got to give a shout out too, Brady Kudo. Brady, I already forgot. Brady, your last name has always dubbed me, and you remember it when we first added out. But Brady, track announcer, it is your birthday. Happy birthday, buddy. Congratulations. I think the kid's like 16 years old now and already, checking off all lists. Now I'm kidding. I think he's 19 or 20 years old, but he has got a great career ahead of him. Great kid. I can't wait to get him and Kyle back in here. Hopefully have a 3-seat roundabout. We can really talk about what's going on this season. But this is actually a cool little new feature we got over here, Owen. I like how we can do kind of side to side and switch it up. This is going to be a fun thing. But we got a new open. We're going to get some new photos, and we're going to bring in some new people and have some different conversations this year. I tried last year to get a father and son duo in here. And we're going to work on doing that this year. We're going to work on telling more stories around the track and try to get down there as much as humanly possible to really talk and try to find the stories within the track, because every lap has a story, every person has a story, and that's what makes this sport so great, is giving a platform for people to be able to talk to. And on top of it, the CW, another partnership with now the O'Reilly Auto Parts series, which is that's going to be a new one I'm going to have to remember a couple times. But hey, we got the chase back, which will be exciting. And, shout out to a couple of our local guys. Gio Ruggiero, he's going to be racing at Daytona and I believe Atlanta, down with Joe Gibbs Racing in the Truck Series. He got his big win last year at Talladega. That was awesome. It was great to see a local kid get out there and, put the Northeast back on the map. Northeast has a lot of great racing. I mean, we have racetracks from all over, and there's a big history around it here. The best part I love about racing is when you get a chance and you talk to, the older guys who've been around the track, older guys and gals, because they've seen it all. They've seen every change that goes through the sport. They see how it changes, both good and bad, but they also understand, a lot of them, at least I've talked to, they understand that change is a good thing, because as long as you adapt and evolve in the sport, things only get better and better. Now, when you adapt and evolve, that also brings up the price tag, which is something that we've always talked about and how it is difficult to race, but, getting out and getting sponsors and getting to know people. We're going to have a couple more things happening this year with the museums. I want to make sure that we get over the museums and really show the pride and history around the racetracks and around Northeast racing in general. And we just saw Priest, so, he's been racing for years, and we all love him because he's a Connecticut guy, kind of like Joey Logano. But Logano's won a lot, and when you finally get the chance to see somebody like Priest, who has raced all around Northeast, and you've seen him before, and I follow a lot of the local fan pages, and all the fan pages were praising him after that big win. So it was good. Although I would have loved to see the race in Bowman over on it would have been fun on the snow. It really would have been, because it would have brought in a whole new dynamic of the sport, which, is something we never see. You don't play baseball in the rain, you don't race in the snow. And that's just the reality of it. But I personally would have thought it would have been a good idea. Let's go over a couple little rehashes of this year. There are a lot of changes coming into the season. We finally have the chase back, which, thank God. I was one that was against the whole style in which they tried to do it with and what they were trying to switch up. But we do have the duels coming up. New Smyrna has their big race down there. I'm really hoping to get to New Smyrna too. I'm flying out Thursday. I'll be going down with my girlfriend and her family and my family, which will be actually a big thing, because my girlfriend's father is a huge racing fanatic, and this will be really cool to kind of get them all together. She's already told me she's going to cry a bunch, so I'm like, perfect. This is great. Maybe I'll just do a story on you guys as well. So let's talk a little bit about the chase battle. We're echoing, so I said before, 2004, 2013, they updated it to the modern era a little bit, but a lot of these changes and all of these changes coming in, they've really been able to kind of set the tone for next year, or this year, I should say, because, racing's kicked off and we're in the season. We're going to go a long way with it, but it's kind of set the tone. And, I'm glad, and I've said it before, NASCAR is listening to its fans, because, the fans are what bring in the money, and they're what bring in the changes to the sport we love. And also the drivers. The drivers have these podcasts and platforms, and they have all the ability to speak their mind as opposed to just a post-race interview and this and that. So we'll have a lot of things to look forward to this year, and a lot more discussion. We'll be bringing in different people. I've got a couple feelers out with some people on the national level to bring them in, who actually, they started up here in the Northeast and, made their way up. And I'm not talking about racers. They're executives. They're people in the industry, and just figure out those new stories. But I do want to throw a shout out to Phil's Propane for jumping on the bandwagon this year. And I'm going to be very honest with a lot of you. This show almost didn't happen again, and this is just, it was no problem. It was conversations and understanding how it went. And my news director, Karen Resendez, I got to give her a shout out. It was great to have those genuine conversations, figure out what I needed, what they needed, what we could all do to work together, because I really didn't want to see the show go away. But those conversations are what make 12 News here at WPRI such a great place, is we're able to have the conversations, move past the challenges and things that we're trying to do. And this is kind of the future. This is what we're doing now. We have, I even know what that camera is now, so I'm going to be able to say hi to you guys. But it's one of those things where we're really doing a lot of things here at 12 News. I mean, we're working hard, and there's a lot of these conversations on what we want to do and how we want to go. And this show is just taken off so much. We had a lot of people listening and watching last year, and I have a nice base plan for this second season, and I really want to try to make a jump, because last year was just so cool. We had everyone from the young bandoleros all the way up to the pro stocks and the sports drivers, and it was a great time to hear from different people. Now, we started a little earlier this year. This is February, so I'm going to have to be filling a lot of content. If you have any suggestions, comments, concerns, just shoot me an email. It's jcortez@wpri.com, right on your screen. I do answer outside of Thursdays and Fridays when my day's off, but I probably will be answering on Fridays because we'll be heading down. But if you have any great stories or any understandings, just shoot me an email or hit me up on Facebook. I try to do better with social media, but we're going to be bringing a lot more of the local racing scene on Trackside Northeast this year, and it'll be expanding, and we're going to be bringing in a lot more people, and it's just going to be a fun time. So I'm excited for the ride, and I'm happy that you will be joining me. This is going to be the final send-off of Season 1, Season 2, Episode 1 debut. You can tell the sickness is already coming in. All right, I need some Sudafed. Love you all. Be safe, be well, most importantly, be kind. Everyone has their own personal battle behind a closed curtain. We'll see you back here next week. We're going to have a live show because I'll be coming back from Florida with hopefully some more content. Have a great day.